He thought he was avenging his brother's death, but the man he killed wasn't the killer. And now, Michael Bernard Bell, after 3 decades and 5 known victims, is just days away from execution. But this isn't just a story about revenge gone wrong. It's a disturbing spiral of violence, secrets, and justice that took 30 years to unfold. Welcome to Death Row Diaries, where we expose the shocking, the twisted, and the final moments of America's most condemned. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time, because what you're about to hear might just leave you speechless. In the early 1990s, tragedy hit the Bell family hard. Michael Bell's younger brother was gunned down in Jacksonville, Florida. Police had suspects, but the case dragged, leads dried up, and to Michael, justice was taking too long. That's when everything changed. One night in December 1993, Bell spotted a familiar car outside a bar. In his mind, that was it. That was the car belonging to the man who took his brother's life. Fueled by rage and a twisted sense of justice, Michael didn't call police. He picked up an AK-47, and within minutes, 2 innocent people would be dead. Have you ever heard of a case where revenge completely backfired like this? Let us know in the comments. We're diving into them all after this video. December 9th, 1993. Outside a nightclub in Jacksonville, Bell pulled up with 2 others. Their mission? Simple: eliminate the man he thought was responsible. Bell stepped out and opened fire. Jimmy West, a 35-year-old man sitting in that car, was shot dead on the spot. Next to him was Tamika Smith, just 22 years old. She clung to life, but died shortly after in the hospital. There was a 3rd woman in the car. She survived by sheer chance. Bell sprayed bullets across the parking lot, into the crowd, then vanished into the night. But here's where it gets even more twisted. Jimmy West had nothing to do with the original murder. He had simply bought the car from the man Bell had been hunting. Michael Bell had killed the wrong man, and an innocent woman paid the price too. When authorities finally caught up with Bell, what they found was even more horrifying. The bar shooting wasn't an isolated incident. It was just the latest in a string of murders. Back in 1989, 4 years earlier, Bell had killed a woman and her 2-year-old daughter. Yes, a toddler. Police believe it was related to a personal dispute, but Bell never confessed. And just months before the 1993 bar shooting, he murdered his mother's boyfriend. That's 5 lives gone, all connected to one man. Yet somehow, he remained under the radar until that one fatal mistake outside the bar. This story gets darker, but if you're into real-life cases that expose the terrifying truth behind headlines, hit that subscribe button now. We've got more stories like this coming every week. Bell was arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder for the bar shooting. But prosecutors began to connect the dots, and soon the other 3 deaths were laid at his feet too. The courtroom was tense. Witnesses took the stand. Prosecutors painted Bell as a cold, calculated killer. But Bell's defense had a different take. They claimed witnesses were pressured, even coerced by investigators. Some statements didn't line up. There were whispers of procedural misconduct. But it wasn't enough. The jury convicted him. The judge sentenced him to death. Over the years, Bell's legal team filed appeal after appeal. One of the most recent came in June 2025, just weeks before his scheduled execution. They claimed a key witness was manipulated into testifying falsely. They pointed to new affidavits, conflicting timelines, and buried evidence. But the court didn't buy it. The judge rejected the request, calling the claims untimely and procedurally flawed. The Florida Supreme Court was contacted, but unless something drastic happens, it's over. Do you believe last-minute appeals should be allowed this close to execution? Or is it too little too late? Comment below. This debate is just heating up. On June 14, 2025, Governor Ron DeSantis signed Bell's death warrant. The execution date was set, July 15, just after 6 p.m. at Florida State Prison in Stark. He will be the 8th person executed in Florida this year alone. Supporters of the victims say this is justice, decades overdue. But critics argue the case raises questions about mistaken identity, coercion, and whether all of Bell's convictions were truly fair. Still, barring intervention, Bell's time is almost up. Michael Bernard Bell wanted justice for his brother, but he ended up killing the wrong man, and in doing so, he exposed his own hidden trail of blood. Now, 31 years later, the state will have its own form of justice. But one haunting truth remains. Revenge doesn't heal pain. It only creates more victims. If this case stunned you, share this video with someone who believes they know what justice really looks like. And don't forget to subscribe to Death Row Diaries, where every story ends with a final decision and sometimes a final breath.